Hey, that's good, because I got a couple stories for you guys today.
Oh, fuck yeah, story time!
Story time!
Yeah, but first, hi and welcome to Blank Bodies,
I got it.
a Vampire the Masquerade V5 podcast. I'm your host, Hunter, and as always, I'm joined by...
This is a special edition of Blank Bodies, Storytime Edition. Here's another host named John.
I am Sarah.
And once again, we're joined by the Lorebot.
James.
Yeah, so this is actually our Gangrel bonus episode.
Yes.
We don't know what the hell he's about to talk about. We did not see a script.
Nope.
Yeah, I have the script together on like 4 sheets of notebook paper.
I'm actually looking over his shoulder right now, and it's just incoherent scribbling and pictures. I see a few pictographs in there.
Is there a crayon drawing over there? I think,
See?
yeah.
I see. I wasn't kidding.
That one's a little gnome.
But yeah, so apparently the bonus episode this time is a storytelling adventure, which is theming for the Gangrel.
Kind of, yeah.
Okay.
So because we're doing Gangrel, I thought it would be fun to look up a couple different stories that involved exotic pet owners. So I've got like 3 and a couple short ones to share that you could use to theme like a character around, or I just thought were fun.
Yeah, we're just gonna jump in it on the things that might go wrong.
Yeah, so I kind of started off mid-tier, very light story, and then we'll end with the heavy story.
Oh, okay. So we're gonna
Oh.
start light and then get to the deep end.
Yeah, get a little funner, and then So,
right.
very mid-tier. We're starting with. Anyone here been to Vegas?
Nope.
Yeah.
Did you ever go to any of the shows?
Tout pois.
Did you get to see Siegfried and Roy?
I did not see them, but I think I know exactly what we're talking about. Go on.
Yeah, so Siegfried and Roy were 2 magicians, and they performed at the MGM Grand. But what made them stand out is that they performed all their tricks with exotic animals.
Yeah, that Siberian Tiger.
Yeah, they had a bunch of them.
Yeah.
They actually lived with them in their houses. So they would do like the standard, like, cut you in half, like, magic trick box, but there was a tiger in the box.
So they had... Were these tigers just loose in their house?
I think they had, like, cages they'd put them up in, just like
Okay.
a kennelled dog,
So
you know what I mean?
You crate the tiger when you're asleep so it doesn't eat you while you sleep, but you let the tiger out while you're watching TV so it can watch, like, Homeward
Spoiler.
Bound with you.
Yeah.
Got it.
Spoiler alerts for later.
I was scared this was gonna be a recreation of the movie Roar.
Oh, no, that's coming up later.
Oh, okay,
Bum,
strap
bum,
in.
bum.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, they would perform on MGM, huge shows, big light shows, disappearing boxes, that kind of stuff. They'd make tigers appear out of thin air, that kind of thing. Unfortunately, in 2003, Roy was attacked by one of their tigers. For perspective here, all their tricks were done with very large, older white tigers. The one that attacked him was a 400-pound white tiger named Manticore.
If you name a tiger Manticore, you got to expect some trouble.
I was going to say, you already have a white Siberian tiger living in your house. Is that not fantasy enough for you?
Right.
I'm not saying that's one of the gayest names you can name a tiger, but that's up there.
They
Like-
specifically got Siberian Tigers. They were going extra.
Like, short of naming the cat, like, pot roast, can't get much gayer.
I actually didn't look this up, but now I'm curious. Do you know were Siegfried and Roy a couple?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
I was aware of that, because growing up in the Midwest, you know, there's lots of people that, for family vacations, apparently the peak luxury vacation in the Midwesterners' eyes is either a cruise or a trip to Vegas. So the amount of times I heard, like, friends of mine's parents be like, well, I mean, I like that tiger show, but, you know, them queers is weird. And I'm just like, God, I don't feel safe, but, like, I'm glad you had a good time, I guess.
Remember, folks, Vegas is always safer than the cruise. Sea rape is completely legal, and they will do nothing about it. Sea death, sea murder.
See you just fall off the boat and be like, well,
Yeah, sea theft. Sea
you're the oceans now.
Well-
if the crew rapes you, they're not going to do anything.
Well, look what happened during COVID. They use single AC units, and so they become disease vectors. And it happened a lot of times before COVID. They just had a good job of covering it up. But yeah, so they were performing on stage. Roy claims that he had a stroke, and the stroke freaked the tiger out, and so he was just like, kill it.
I don't blame the tiger if, like, the guy I was chilling with suddenly just started shaking.
Yeah, so...
Wasn't the tiger also underfed?
No. Actually, the tiger was found to be completely not at fault. I couldn't find anything about the tiger being underfed. They had the tiger go stay at a sanctuary for a couple months and was actually returned to them and lived the rest of its life with Siegfried and Roy.
Yeah, but didn't
they didn't kill the tiger?
Yeah, I was about to say, didn't they stop using tigers after that?
They stopped performing completely. MGM shuttered the show immediately.
I wonder fucking why.
Yeah, I mean, they did it for a long time. This happened in 2003, by the way.
No. Yeah.
Yeah, they specifically requested that the tiger not be hurt. Roy claimed that it was his fault because he had the stroke, which caused him to seize, and the seize scared the tiger. Although, later on, one of their animal handlers came out, and he had a very different story. He said, I'm wondering if he just got out from under an NDA, or if he had written a book about working with them, or what. Because it's really weird that he would come out and talk about this in, like, 2011, I think, was when his statement came out, so way later. But he claims that it was Roy's fault, that when you lead a tiger, you have to give them space. So when you're facing them in a different direction or repositioning them, instead of just being like grabbing them and moving them like 2 feet, you actually guide them in a full circle and you walk them around and to the new spot. And what the animal handler claimed was that Roy just kind of grabbed the tiger and pulled it into his body. And the tiger took that as a form of aggression and attacked. And that the seizure was caused by the tiger attack, not a stroke.
Not the other way around.
Yeah, he got attacked, and his heart, he had a stroke because he was being attacked by a 400-pound white tiger.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I wonder fucking
So really,
why.
he came out like best he possibly could have in that situation.
pretty much,
He's
yeah.
not dead.
Yeah, not
yeah.
dead.
Or dismembered.
Just the tiger's like, this is my
I don't
home
know
now.
about the not dismembered. I think he might have lost like a finger or something.
I don't remember him actually being like viciously attacked. I remember like Tiger grabbing him and like pulling him off stage essentially.
I know he had some like plastic surgery afterwards, but
Yeah, valid.
Anyway,
Yeah.
that's not a good example of a gangrel.
no. But
It's a good example of a gangrel who got too big for his little sequined britches.
Wait,
Yeah.
alternatively, no. We're looking at this the wrong way. We're assuming the Gangrel are the magicians. Better way to do this. One Gangrel whose shape change in protein is a Siberian tiger, and he has been ghouling these idiots for years, and this is his cover. He gets a snack, he gets resources, and he just gets to do stage shit all the time. If the tiger's the vampire,
Well, then why would he have attacked him?
well, the ghoul got
frenzied.
hyphy. Yeah,
Yeah.
he frenzied and the ghoul got hyphy, and he needed to put that ghoul in his fucking place.
Well, I was going to say, if there's a gangrel, it'd be the animal handler, which is actually really funny. During his statement about what he believes actually happened, he talked about how the tigers had always lived with the two of them, and how he said that Roy and Manticore had, quote, a diminishing relationship over the years.
I think I remember this interview, because, there was a lot of, like, they should have saw this coming. This one was
Well-
not having his shit.
So was Manticore like slowly just like hitting their villain arc, or was there some sort of weird like familial like
Fuck you, Dad.
fuck
Yeah.
you, Dad, I'm gonna go skateboarding, but I got paws and I'm 400 pounds. I'm gonna split this board in half.
From what I read, it seemed like it was kind of somewhere in between. So Tiger was getting older and grumpier old animals. I'm sure most people have been around an old cat that just like will like claw you if you look at it wrong when they hit a certain age. They're just like, I'm done with everyone's bullshit. And there are rumors that Roy was getting tired of doing the show anyway.
Yeah,
and
so-
so it just a moment of fuck it, trying to pull a tiger over, and the old tiger said no.
Yeah, they both were getting tired of the shit.
Interesting.
All right, so my next one, there's a little more less maulings involved,
Aw.
but
More violence.
any boxing fans?
I have watched a boxing.
Yeah, I've
I once
watched.
dated a lady whose grandfather was a famous Mexican boxer.
Oh, that's cool.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
He was retired, and he's a cool dude. He didn't talk very much because he got hit in the head a lot when he was young.
Fair. Wait, boxer, not luchador?
He was a boxer.
Shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought there was a pretty full tradition of boxing within Mexican culture.
Yeah, it's just I feel like the luchadors also cross both ways, where it's like where it's wrestling and boxing. I've seen like a little bit of both.
I'm not aware
From what I
of
know
that.
of luchadors, they are just like, I'm a fucking luchador, and that's all I fucking do.
Yeah, I think they might
They
be just,
live in their mask almost.
Yeah,
yeah.
I was gonna say, maybe luchadors get more traction in U.S. media because it's very dramatic.
Yeah.
Yeah, we like costumes.
Hey, I can respect them.
Anyway, boxing.
Yeah, go for it.
Yes.
Boxing.
Is it kangaroo?
No, it's Mike Tyson.
Oh God. Okay.
Okay, so are you saying Tyson's a gangrel because he bit somebody's ear?
Kind of.
There is that too. But he also owned 2 white Siberian tigers.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Buddy. What
Is this a Venn diagram of crazy
Did
celebrities?
you just find all the people that have ever owned white Siberian tigers?
No, but
Is
those
this
are
a-
very
just a-
popular.
Is this just a story of the Siberian
Wait a
tiger
second.
in captivity?
Tell me this ends in Joe Exotic.
Well, this isn't just about his tigers, so
Oh,
there's
okay.
more to it.
Oh my God.
But so he did own 2 tigers, and he actually bought them in prison.
Wait, he was in prison?
Yeah. So
Yes.
I had the same thought. I was like, wait, were the tigers in prison?
I mean, they got
What were
little
the
stripes. Like, you don't need to put a little shirt on them.
No, I'm sorry. I need to know. I'm like, how were the tigers in prison? This is what I need to know.
That's what a sanctuary is, kind of. Like, it's well-meaning. I guess it's more of a mental health facility.
Yeah,
exactly.
or a rehabilitation home.
Yeah, but it's like, it's kind of a tiger prison.
I'm so sorry, Hunter.
oh no, it's good.
This is
So
a
was
bonus
Tyson in
episode.
prison?
Yeah, so he was in
Okay,
prison.
all right, cool.
And he was talking to a friend of his who owned a car dealership. He sold cars. And someone he knew owed him a bunch of money. And so he was going to repossess that guy's cars. And he's like, I think I'm going to buy some exotic pets with them. So this guy was buying exotic pets for himself off his car dealership money. Told Mike about it. He goes, you know what? When you get out of prison, I bet you'd look real great with like a white tiger in your Ferrari. So Mike was like, you know what? That would be a fucking flex to leave prison in a Ferrari with 2 tigers. So he went ahead and bought them, and he had 2 tiger cubs waiting for him at home
What
when
the
he
fuck?
got out of prison.
Just like roll the window down and the fucking Ferrari about to leave prison just.
I was really scared the guy who was like, okay, I owe this dealership a lot of fucking money. I don't have it. What if I give you my tigers as, like, collateral? I thought that's where this was going for
Yeah,
a
me
second.
too.
I'm just like, what the
Yeah.
fuck? LA is wild.
What I have learned, though, from this story so far is that if I want a white tiger, I just need to go to, like, a dealership. Next time I go to a car dealership, I'm going to ask if I can get a tiger.
It's not hard to get exotic cats, unfortunately. Like, especially in the U.S., like, it's a problem.
State by state, there is no federal ruling, as far as I know, on animal ownership, other than animals
Endangered species.
that are endangered or dangerous to like a massively like poisonous. Like I think there's certain snakes that are just illegal to keep as pets in
Things
the
you
US.
can weaponize, essentially.
Yeah.
Hi, coming in just like, hey, what can we get you started with today? I would like a large cat. I hear that you guys can provide this. Where are the big kitties?
We have a jaguar, but it's
No, I'm looking for
car.
more of a tiger.
No, I'm looking for a carkel. They're a big fat dumbass.
The fuck's a carkle?
It's the thing I showed you last night.
That,
Remember?
I don't know. I don't remember what that is. I have problems.
Remember it has a little bit weird pointy ears, threw the ball and it was just not graceful.
Oh, that thing that looks like a bobcat with like extra pointy anime ears.
Yeah, and fat as shit when
Okay.
they're domestic.
Yeah. Also, people that are listening to this have no idea what the fuck that was.
Yeah, I don't either.
It's okay.
You guys are getting kicked out of the dealership faster than Fed Smoker.
Yeah, you gotta come at him with like, some weird fucking.
I got to
some
be
shit.
in the process of filling out loan paperwork.
Yeah.
And that's when I pull it out. I'm like,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
by the way, can we get a tiger too?
This prank only works if you have a good credit score.
Yeah.
You have to pull an archer. Just walk in there and just be like, "Is that an ocelot?"
But yeah, so Tyson actually owned those tigers for 14 years.
I would think
Wow.
Tyson's really good at taking care of his like pets.
Yeah.
I see that or see him boxing his pets.
So
Honestly, I think the cats would probably love that.
he actually bought the house next to his and used it as a tiger sanctuary. So he lived in his own home, and the neighbor's house was just where the 2 tigers lived.
Now, did he convert the house, or did he just let them fucking convert it on their own?
That would have been fun.
I'm sure they converted it.
Yeah.
It's cats. They're gonna convert that.
Well, no. I'm hoping he put some work in instead of just like the worst fucking like, okay, I'm down, I'm desperate on my luck, I need to make some money. I'm gonna go to this rich neighborhood and I'm gonna break into this house, breaks into that house and be like, oh no, it all went wrong.
Yeah.
Do your research before you break into a house.
Yep, case it.
Don't break into a house, guys. We don't promote breaking into
Look,
houses.
in VTM, you're going to do a breaking and entering at some point. I would
Yes.
recommend, if you're a smart ST, if your players don't case the place before they do it,
Put a tiger.
put a tiger in there. Fuck them.
Yeah, or a cougar.
Yeah.
Or even just big dogs. A couple of them.
Yeah, a mastiff. Just a fucking like
Irish
What up?
wolfhound. Something. A wolf. Fuck it, man.
Get weird with it.
Yeah.
Actually, what's really funny is, you know who was one more house down? Wayne Newton and his horses.
Oh, God.
Wait. Oh no.
So nothing ever happened,
Oh, thank
but
God.
Mike said that the tigers would just sit and stare at those horses like all day long. It's like,
They
Yeah.
could probably smell the barn, too.
Uh-huh.
Oh, my God.
Oh god, that must have been the best cat TV for them. They
Right?
must have been like,
Or it's like someone just, you're sitting on one side of a screen and then they're having like the most delicious buffet dinner on the other side of the screen.
Yeah.
And you're hungry.
Have you ever, like, you know that thing that cats do when they're, like, sitting in the window and they're watching, like, bird TV? Mm-hmm. And they get that little, like, kitty chitters? Mm-hmm. Do tigers do that?
I don't know. I don't know if big tigers hunt birds as much, so I don't know if they need
like,
to.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, like, the equivalent of that would be the tigers sitting on the palatial estate that Mike Tyson was kind enough to give them, and they're looking across the vista, and there's just fucking horses. Do they go kick it?
The tiger equivalent, probably.
Yeah.
Tiger experts, reach
Yes.
out to us at blankbodies@gmail.com. Let us know, do tigers kick when they're excited about food?
inquiring community members want to
Like,
know.
we're
important.
fleshing out the role play world, and we need to know these things.
Yeah, I do.
Hunter, I'm
do
so
you,
sorry.
No, that is a good thing. Let's be real. If we know that, that's how an ST scares the shit out of somebody with a wits awareness roll. They're just like, you hear kick. You rolled at least 3 successes. That's a very deeper, louder kick than you are.
That would be scary if it was like a Sabat pack, and there was like Sabat Gangrel, and they're doing like tiger kick.
Yeah.
That'd be
Yeah.
spooky.
So he ended up getting rid of his tigers. They're getting old and sick, and he couldn't care for them. Plus, he had recently had kids and decided it'd be better to just send them to a sanctuary where they could be cared for properly, and he wouldn't have to worry about the tigers eating his children.
Fuck it, man.
So-
Grow up strong.
I'm just saying, I appreciate that Mike Tyson is the most responsible big cat owner I have ever fucking heard of. Where he's like, I got them their own house, like, I got them set up, like, everything's good. And he's
Yeah.
like, okay, I got to the point where he's like, okay, I don't have the training to actually take care of these creatures that I care about. And also to not endanger my family. I'm going to give them to people who are responsible and can't actually do this. And I'm just like, you know what? Good for you, Mike.
Yeah,
That's wholesome as shit.
reasonable surrendering,
Yeah.
which totally makes sense. It's like I'm old and I am not as wild as I used to be, and I have children.
Yeah, I cannot imagine dealing with a big cat with like dementia.
That'd be weird.
That'd be fucking awful because it's just like they get spicy. It's like my grandma ended up getting dementia, and there were several. She was the nicest, like, sweater, like, make cookies, like, Scottish grandma. And then, like, once the dementia started kicking in really bad, she would, like, throw her knitting at people. Like, she got real spicy.
Did she ever maul anybody?
Not that I am aware of. Like, it just, a couple of times she got real spicy, and, like, knitting needles are, like, not fucking something to joke about.
You can stab somebody with those
I
things.
just imagine your uncle like passing by here too close from behind, and just like the claws come out, and he's in the hospital.
Yeah,
Getting stitches.
so it's like, I can't imagine.
Stab them with the sewing
putting-
the needle.
Yeah, just taking that energy and then putting it behind a 400-pound tiger instead
No
of
thanks.
like a 90-pound-year-old grandma.
Yeah.
Nope. No thanks.
But that wasn't the end of his animal raising.
Oh, all right.
So then he decided it was time to get into raising pigeons.
Hell
I
yes.
remember this.
He
yeah.
may
Hell
have
yes.
he may have actually started before he got rid of the tigers. I couldn't actually find a date when he first got into that, but that kind of led me down a rabbit hole of like people raising pigeons, and I did not realize how fucking wild that world is.
Oh, it gets crazy.
So they actually race pigeons, and they don't race them like on a racetrack or a straight shot. They put like a number on them, and it's like, all right, we're going from Sydney to Paris.
Go.
They train them to go to specific spots, and then they'll release the pigeons, and they almost always turn up, and then the winner is the pigeon who arrives first.
Mm-hmm.
That's nuts.
Yeah, there's a reason why for a certain Malkavian NPC that I had made for our Chicago game, I have done so much pigeon research.
Yeah.
And God forbid any of you run into that.
Oh, we already have, remember?
Not as deeply. You got to the point where there's messenger pigeons with like little backpacks. Mm-hmm. You haven't gotten to the fancy pigeons yet.
Mm-hmm. So
Those aren't fancy pigeons. They have fucking backpacks.
No, there's fancy pigeons.
Yeah, no, there are
just-
insanely fancy pigeons. So this is real world, like not considering like revenant or like ghouls that can live like 10 times their expected life. So there are pigeon bloodlines that date back to the Crusades. There are families in India who can trace single bloodlines of pigeons back at least 500 years. Mm-hmm. Like a Ventru traces its heritage.
Pigeons are the Ventru of birds?
The Ventru are most likely to raise pigeons. People bet insane amounts of money. It is the like number one secret sport amongst like blue-blooded.
And get up and adjust my chair.
Okay.
That slid back a little bit. There we go.
But yeah, pigeons are actually one of the oldest domesticated animals. Mm-hmm. Other than like cats and dogs.
Yeah, like all the pigeons you see in the city, they're actually feral. Like all pigeons are domesticated animals, and then we as dickweeds brought them to cities, and then we're just like, well. And then there's just these poor pigeons just trying to scrape a living, and I always feel bad for city pigeons. I'm just like, buddy, you're supposed to be inside. That sucks.
Yeah, remember, folks, all park pigeons are free pigeons if you can get them.
That's
That
true.
reminds me of a picture I saw of a like New York City window cleaner who was up in a skyscraper, and he was just like, yes, pigeons, the peak of evolution. They spend years creating the most perfect nests, and it's just a picture of a pigeon egg sitting on just an open area of cement way up high in a building.
several
kind of
stories.
Nooked away. It's
Yeah.
like, semis are an inch long in the picture, and yeah, it's just sitting there.
It's chilling.
Just
There's like a couple of twigs, like vaguely in the circle of a nest.
Yep.
When I think of pigeons, I always think of the Good Feathers from Animaniacs.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But so my first thought was like a Nosferatu who was like, I've been around from before the internet. I don't need that to exchange information. You just got like a wild network of like carrier pigeons.
It'd be cool.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was running with the Malkavian NPC I have, where it's like, well, they have the Madness Network, but it's like, how the fuck do I talk to people that are not part of the network? I know, pigeons! Fly, my lovelies.
Aha!
Yeah, so that also, I have also gone down the pigeon rabbit hole, and it's you're just like, what the fuck? Like the special ops pigeons for military units, and like weird bombing pigeons. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
So the bombing pigeons were successful. Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm just making sure it wasn't like the bombing bats.
Well,
Yeah.
50-50 on the bombing pigeons. There was a experiment that they tried to do where they put a pigeon inside of a bomb and tried to use it like a computer guidance system and that did not work.
No.
But if you put like
Yeah?
small bombs on a pigeon,
That works.
that
okay.
works. You can basically put like a grenade-sized payload on a pigeon, and it's kind of sad.
Yeah.
But they tried to put a pigeon inside like a larger shell and have its movement guide the shell.
Yeah, they basically had a radar inside of it, and then they're training the pigeon to peck the symbol that they would set for the target, and it was supposed to like reallocate the bomb to like be more of a guidance missile, like in the 40s.
If any of our community members could even slightly, I don't care how shitty it is, animate a pigeon in a cockpit. I don't care what type of cockpit, just doing something. And then put the Evangelion theme in the background. I will lose my fucking mind.
Put a cigar in that pigeon's mouth.
Hell yeah.
Yes.
Paint a sexy pigeon lady on the side of the plane.
Pigeon Shinji, get in the goddamn Mava. Shut the fuck up and get in the Ava.
Oh, God. So, yeah, The amount of Vampire the Masquerade shenanigans you can do with fucking pigeons is obscene. Also, the CIA files that have been released recently about the bird cameras.
Oh, yeah.
Have you read any of that?
Birds really aren't real.
Birds aren't fucking real?
Well, there's
Some of them are.
Here's the funny thing, right? So the early versions of the bird cameras that they had in the 70s for that program, it was basically a reverse pack. So it was like a little pack on the front of the bird with like a camera, but it was like a 70s microfilm camera. So for us who are used to like sleek micro cameras and all that stuff, it's fucking comical.
Yeah.
Just this little, but it's on the pigeon. It's huge. Just this big little leather pouch on his front with like a lens. And somehow no one fucking noticed this enough that the CIA considered this a success and continued the program for many fucking years.
So some birds might be fake.
Some birds are fake. Confirmed. Some birds are fake.
Also, this does.
You heard it first here, guys.
What if the pigeon's just an art student? If they're using microfilm nowadays, there's no way.
I imagine if you did the reverse backpack on the pigeon now, it'd be a lot smaller, but at that point you might as well just use a fucking drone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hunter, why are we talking about pigeons?
Well,
I forgot.
Yeah.
Mike
Where's
Tyson.
the gangrel here?
Oh, yeah, okay, Mike Tyson. Got it.
Wait.
No, so I got one more story. I believe it was James who asked earlier, but about the legality of owning exotic pets. It, like I said, it varies by state, and it used to be that the state with the laxest pet rules was Ohio.
Not anymore.
I know
Used
where
to
this
be.
is going.
Until 2011 in a town called Zanesville.
Zanesville.
Yeah. So the
Y'all motherfuckers should have known some horror movie shit was gonna happen. Go on.
Yeah, so this was in 2001, and the day started with the police starting to get a lot of weird phone calls. And you can go look up a lot of these phone calls online afterwards, but it's just people like with kind of like a Midwest accent being like, "Yeah, so I was going down Clay Road, and I think I saw like a cougar or a tiger. It was like a big cat." Just like all kinds of people calling in, like just like these weird animal sightings, and the police were like, "Okay, what the fuck?" Like at first, I'm sure they're just like, "Yeah, you saw a lion,"
Yeah, good prank, bro.
but then,
After the fourth call in, you gotta go, okay, what
Yeah.
the fuck?
so it turns out that there were lions, tigers, bears,
Oh my.
and wolves
Uh-oh.
Oh.
released
Oh
all across this small town. To the point where they had to like close schools and businesses, and everyone was ordered to stay inside for like 2 to 3 days while they dealt with this. Cops ended up putting down 49 large-sized animals in 2 to 3 days.
That's
and
sad.
they tried to trank them, but they tranked a lion who would like look like they'd fallen asleep. And when they tried to move him, it just like snapped up and attacked a deputy. So at that point, they're just like, "All right, we got to put him down."
Yeah, they like ham.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah, they should have brought in, the National Guard. They might have liked exotic ham better.
So what happened? Why'd this happen? Well, they all escaped from.
Wait, hold on. Can I have a guess?
Yeah.
Animal Uprising.
It was not an Animal Farm moment.
Oh, okay, never mind.
They were released for the good of society to destroy the boar population, to decrease the boar agenda.
The boar agenda was not that far north in 2001.
The boar agenda has always been here.
Oh.
They're waiting in the shadows. You ever walking alone at night and hear a...
And it's 40 to 50 feral hogs.
Hey, the Homestead fandom's not here.
Fuck.
But no, they actually all escaped from the Muskingum County Animal Farm.
That is the worst name for anything I've ever heard.
No.
Muskingum.
Can we just throw away the entire state of Ohio?
Right.
That sounds like
Damn.
I was gonna say that sounds like one of those candies they sell in like the back of Cracker Barrel that like one grandpa years like I remember Muskingum, and it just like smells like dead pelt.
It sounds like
Smells like, or tastes like wood.
It sounds like the town name I would make up if I was running any kind of like pseudo Western Victorian like fantasy game, and somebody's like, "Oh, we need to pull over to this town," and I just panic, make up the most rednecky like backwoods mining town that's collapsing kind of name, where I'm just like, Muskingum, fuck it, that's the name of it now.
Yep.
Was that
There's
the
a
name?
saloon, a brothel, and like 4 shacks. That's all that's here.
Was that the name of the town, or was
That's
it?
County.
the county.
It's the county. Okay,
So it's
not that bad.
Zanesville,
Yeah.
located in Muskingum County.
Not as
Muskingum
bad.
County, man, that is a zany place.
That's somebody's family, like that used to be like, oh, the Muskingums used to own this place.
Zanesville sounds like the kind of town where it's like, yes, this is definitely where I am going to be buying a lot of pills.
It all,
Unfortunately. Thanks,
Yeah.
Big Pharma.
Thanks.
Yet again, I'm also like that. I would have just been like, guys, you should have saw the horror movie coming. Come on, it's on the fucking like. You can see the little entering Zanesville population of happiest town in America. It'd be like that was the establishing shot before everything went fucking wrong.
Oh yeah, Zanesville, Ohio is the name of like a Midwest town in an 80s horror movie, but for some reason there's like palm trees in the background because they shot the movie in LA.
Which, speaking of, if you're from Zanesville, we are doing this in polite ribbing.
We are also Midwesterners. We get it. It's hell.
I lived near a place called Moonsville.
That's so much cooler than Zanesville.
Well,
What?
That feels
well,
like-
you know what? The coolest thing in the entire town was a trailer with a couple of Coke machines outside of it at an intersection. The Coke machines didn't work. They were there for advertising. On the trailer, it was spray painted with an arrow that says "Soda, knock on door." That was the most exciting thing in that
That's
town.
how you
That's
get
a-
human trafficked.
Well,
I grew up, my hometown's mascot was a hot dog.
That explains you so much.
it does.
It really does.
I'm planning on getting a tattoo of it soon.
Hell yes.
His name's Frankie.
Of course he is.
Yep.
And it's all because they won a championship. And the newspaper, I think it was Indianapolis Star, but a big newspaper wrote about they won the championship and they were showboaters, so they called the team a bunch of hot dogs, and so they immediately changed the town basketball team to the Frankfurt Hot Dogs.
That is such a
actually
prime
pretty funny.
example of like Midwest nice.
Yeah, yeah, we are the hot dogs.
You know, fuck you, yeah, we
Fuck
are.
you, bud.
We got that.
So why were almost 50 large wild animals released in the middle of fucking Ohio?
No. 50 killed. We don't know if they got all of
yeah.
them.
I have some
Rough numbers.
rough numbers in a second.
Yeah.
But so yeah, like I said, Ohio used to have the most lenient exotic animal ownership laws in the U.S. And this case specifically is kind of what closed the loop on that for obvious reasons. But it turns out that the owner of the Muskingum County Animal Farm was a man named Terry. And
Of course.
he decided to release 48 animals. No, he released 50, sorry. Released 50 of them and then shot himself in the head, where some of the animals he released ate him.
That makes sense
Yeah,
now.
didn't he release them because they were coming to take them away?
No.
Oh shit.
I
That
thought
was
he
one of the
was-
rumors, but I'll get to that at the reasoning.
yeah.
No, go for it.
Yeah, so he was partially eaten, and it turned out that he had just gotten out of prison on gun charges, and he was being investigated by the ATF. And so a lot of people think that he knew there was like a federal investigation into him and just like went out big.
Yeah,
I mean, that's a way to go out
You
big.
said 2001, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because this was like a few years after like Ruby Ridge and like shit with Waco and Oklahoma City bombings. There was a lot of paranoia amongst the paramilitary, like right wing, that anytime the ATF, any government was coming for them, they were just like the hyphiest motherfuckers. I'm not saying it's good, and I'm not saying it's not a continuing problem, but like at the time, I'm like, that seems being investigated. That seems like a strong reaction, and then if you like take that into context, you're like, oh.
So that actually, there's a lot that plays into that. So he was a Vietnam vet who returned back to town, and everyone kind of knew him as a like thrill seeker. Like he was known for like going hundreds of miles down like country roads on motorcycles and racing boats. There's a rumor in town that the only reason he'd never been arrested was because he could drive his boats and motorcycles faster than the cops in town could in cars.
Like, well, he got away.
But so I guess a ATF agent had come to his gate. They were to ask him some questions. And from what I could tell, he pointed a gun at him and said, "Yeah, that's a whatever caliber Magnum. You'd be dead if I wanted you to be.
Ooh.
Not that I've killed anyone since I became a civilian. I
That's
killed
a
a lot of
sentence.
people in Vietnam, though."
That's a sentence that you don't say to federal agents
No.
or anyone.
Yeah, so that's what got him arrested.
Yeah.
I mean, if you say
That would do it.
if you say that sentence to officers more often, they might kill less people. if
No,
they know
that's
they will
gonna,
kill
that's
more
gonna
people.
validate all the shitty training they've been getting. Don't say that to anybody. Unless, again, it is a roleplay game that you guys had a consent talk about, and this is part of the story. Outside of that, don't fucking say that sentence.
But yeah, so it turns out that he had like 58 animals. Some of them he left in the cages. I think he had some exotic birds that he didn't let loose.
He's like, they're just gonna die.
The two that they didn't, the cops didn't catch or kill were two monkeys who got like eaten immediately on the property.
So wait, they caught the other 8?
No,
Well,
the other 8
6.
were still caged on his property.
I was like,
He still
birds.
had some exotics that
Okay,
he didn't
yeah, 'cause I
release
thought
before
you
he
said
shot
he
himself.
Released 58.
No, he had 58. He released 50. The two monkeys got eaten, and then the cops shot or captured the other 48. I believe they shot them all.
Okay, yeah.
Because they tried to capture them, and it just wasn't working.
No, you're good. I remember you said they shot like 40 of them. And I'm like, there's still like 8 more left over. Then I'm like, where's that?
Oh, no. Yeah.
It's a sewer tiger. It's evolved into the sewers.
Can we not
We-
the descent a tiger, please?
That sounds like an Ohio
No.
thing.
That's
It kind of does, yeah.
that's alligator the tiger.
That's in New York.
It was in New York. I might just stream that movie. Just be like, no, we're watching alligator. Why? It's so dumb.
It's fun. But yeah, so I do have a tangential addition to that for my real life. So when I moved to the States, moved to like this rural part of southern Indiana that was like not terribly far from Monroe Lake. Nobody I'm related to lives there now, so fuck it. But it was an area where there was a lot of hunting, and because you're out in the woods and shit, people with property would just sometimes buy exotic animals.
Uh-huh. As you do.
And occasionally they would get out. Sometimes they wouldn't report it because they didn't want to get in trouble. So there was a couple of times in my life where the local newspaper would have like these Bigfoot sightings, and then later on it was just like a big cat or a bear that somebody had just let out. There's like 3 times in my life as a child that we were forced to stay inside for like a week because somebody had let some sort of exotic animal just loose.
And down there, it's like woodsy.
Yeah, like there was people hunting constantly. So, and like my least favorite of that was I had an uncle that would hunt, and he was like well known in the area for doing hunting. And sometimes he wouldn't like take the deer to get field dressed to like the deer station where you go get processed. And he would just like leave it hanging in the tree in my backyard early in the morning and wouldn't fucking say anything to us. So like I would wake up and there would just be this body wrapped in a tarp just banging against a tree. And I'm like horrified because I'm like, I'm in America and I've seen horror movies. I'm like,
Nope.
there's a not 0% chance that's a person.
Yeah.
So I was just like, did my uncle hunt or did we get hate crime? What happened here? So yeah, the exotic animal thing is a problem. Just I'm still mad about somebody had released like a small black bear and didn't say anything. So for months we were getting these Bigfoot sightings in the local paper, and it turned out it was a fucking bear. And I'm just like, what? Y'all were right about this like it was cute for months, and then just fucking it was actually
bear.
I was in danger the whole time.
Well, which type of bear was it?
It was a little black bear.
Oh, psh.
I was a child.
And if you
I was snack sized.
flex your shoulders at them, they'll go and leave.
I don't know. Black bears can fuck you up.
They can, but they're the pussies. It's the brown bears
if
you
you're
gotta worry about.
be fucking with a bear, I would much rather have to deal with a black bear than a brown bear. But you need to understand, at this point in my experience with America, no one had taught me the bear lessons. And I was a child, and I'm like, I am clearly snack-sized. Mm-hmm. What the fuck?
I was about to say, if you got like a thing of those like snap pops that fucking hunters got at the front of the door, you could fucking deal with a black bear. Just throw one of those at it. And
No one taught me that because I was the weird kid with the funny accent. And I was being raised in like a town that looked like the setting for Stephen King's It, but it was in southern Indiana. So it was just fucking weird, like 90s, 50s the whole time. So
Stranger
I was just like,
Things.
We had a little bit of that in my hometown. They had a big cat sanctuary, and it was never just like, never bad enough that they had like a curfew or anything like that, but there were a couple times they put out warnings like, if you have dogs, don't let them outside. There's been wolf sightings, there's been cougar sightings, and I think the weirdest was a mountain lions. Mm-hmm. But this was like a real sanctuary. I don't know
shit
if
just gets out.
cats...
They crafty.
Cats can escape almost anything if they really want to, I think.
They crafty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if they want to.
But yeah, are my 3 wild animal stories. I have some extra addendums for stuff to watch, but there is a Zanesville documentary. I haven't watched it. There's a lot of rumors around that story. So looking it up was kind of interesting because you get a lot of, and I don't know if the ATF, because it never turned into a full case because he shot himself. I don't know if their investigation on him was ever released. I haven't watched this doc yet. I really want to. But I know I've heard a rumor that the reason they were originally investigating him is that they think he was running guns for the cartels.
I wouldn't doubt that.
Which is why he had exotic pet money.
Yeah.
Actually, I'll bring it up because it's a fun animal story and I love it. And it's the one thing that I've considered hunting because I'm like, oh, that animal would be hunting me back. Does anybody know about Gustav the crocodile?
I think you've told this story
Is that the one that lives like in Africa that just doesn't give a fuck?
Who specifically goes out and like hunts people?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've talked about him.
Yeah. It's the literal Lake Placid movie's based on him because it's just like literally the gator, the crocodile survived the purge of the Nile and literally it just pretty much galvanized it to just be like, oh, I need to kill these things. And it just survived. So it's just a giant crocodile that's just like hunts people for sport.
Yeah, if you decide it's time to go out, grab yourself a bow and arrow and see what happens.
Nah, K-Bar. Fight that shit like a real knight.
You'll lose.
Yeah, probably.
100%.
Probably, but that's the best tombstone. This cyborg was shredded by a dragon.
Yeah, it's pretty metal.
That's some Shadowrun shit right there.
A couple other ones I wanted to recommend. I know it's really good, but the Werner Herzog documentary Grizzly Man.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh.
Anything with Werner Herzog, honestly.
Oh, that one's just sad because I know that one.
Yeah, it's about a guy who would go and live with bears, I believe in the summer seasons. Mm-hmm. And when he lived with them like their family, like they had a separate camp. When the planes went to pick them up from the end of their trip, he was missing. No. And so they finally found him inside the tummy of a bear. And so it goes into that documentary and a little bit of lost media or haunted tapes if you want to put something real fucked up in your game. There is a recording. He recorded almost daily his interaction with the bears, and there is a recording of him being eaten by the bears. It has only ever been listened to, I believe it was like the police who were investigating it, and he left everything he had, I believe, to his ex-wife. I haven't seen the documentary in a couple of years, but she's one of the only people who's ever listened to it, and she like listens to it on camera with Werner in the room, and just from seeing her reaction, he looks at her and says, "You need to burn this. You need to destroy this tape right now."
Yeah.
Damn.
Apparently, she put it in a... she did something with it. I won't give away the whole documentary, but that is...
She did a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
rough.
That is a rough day.
That is.
Yeah.
Big oof, buddy.
I got one more real big oof, and then I got some lighter ones.
Okay.
This one is not for the squeamish. It is a rough documentary. I haven't watched it myself yet, but it's on my watch list, and I thought it might be worth bringing up. So, the documentary Zoo.
Oh.
Do you guys know about Zoo?
I do.
Love that.
It's the documentary about Mr. Hands, if you know what that is.
Yo.
Who was the man who got fucked to death by a horse on camera, and then it became like a shock video.
Yeah.
That documentary is about him and his group of friends who owned like a private zoo and were sexing animals.
Doing terrible things that I'm like, I'm not saying he deserved it, but like, I don't feel bad.
He fucked around. He found out.
It's like, buddy, they can't consent. What the fuck?
But yeah, so that I feel like that's just such a weird like cultural touchstone. It'd be worth watching, but I haven't gotten myself around to doing it yet.
Yeah, especially if you're a millennial, because that was around the peak of like gore.com and just the unfiltered internet, and all of us just like mentally scarring each other with the most fucked shit.
Yeah, it's a joke. Be like, hey, check out this beheading video.
Yeah, like this is just
but
how
you wouldn't
made
say
friends.
it. But you wouldn't say it was a beheading video. You'd be like, look at this crazy shit.
Yeah.
Don't you just like how the evolution of that peaked into like, oh, look at the new trailer for the new Marvel movie, and it's just rickrolled. They're like, oh, we got peaceful finally.
Yeah.
No, that was going on at the exact same time. That's the thing.
Yeah.
That's why you would just click stuff, because like, oh, it's going to be like a funny animation of a hamster or like a dude doing a bad French accent talking about bombs or something. And then you click it and you're like, oh, that's a hammer in his hand. Why is his penis out?
Yeah, that's how I ended up finding out about like the one man one ice pick thing, because when that was circulating, that's an actual like real murder. Don't fucking watch that. But when it came out, because there were so many videos like that were faked, and I had such an interest in like special effects and horror, I got sent that clip so many times by people to like want me to vet it.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I hate that I have such a reputation about true crime that I'm being sent this by multiple people in my school, and two, I could actually vet it correctly, and I'm just like, guys, this is like a real thing. Like, we need to, I don't know which cop we need to give this to, but like, this is, no.
What's interesting is a lot of those videos are actually fake. And then a lot of them were just people who are into body modification who are just like, oh, I know like the extremes I can put my body to, and I can make it look real scary and put it online.
Yeah, like there's a lot of, like the more infamous ones, I know a lot of those were faked, but then if you go just beyond that, there's a lot of like really fucked videos of just like people doing terrible things to each other in like war zones and just like terrible accidents and shit. So
I
it's
have
like,
seen multiple cartel videos.
yeah.
I still remember a video of the worst beheading by a military man on a Russian where it wasn't even done right. It was just like they just... I'm not going to go into it because I don't want to like X-rating this because it's just...
I was about to say, let's not actually
Yeah.
go into all
We're not
this.
gonna get into the details, but
It's
like,
really bad. Somebody just put it on, they did it, and I was like,
Hey.
I've watched hardcore horror movies, and that's
Yeah.
really fucked. Like, clearly the person who did that was just like, I'm just trying to make this person in pain, and I'm like, why?
Yeah, so if we have any older listeners or younger listeners that are like, I don't understand why millennials are the way they are, the Zoo documentary might explain some shit.
So on a lighter note, I got a couple more for watch that I just thought were interesting. Sarah mentioned it earlier, Roar.
Oh my god, this movie is fucking insane!
I'm thinking about putting on our next movie poll
Do
or
it.
night. It was filmed with 150 live lions and tigers that were allowed to roam the set freely the entire time the movie was being filmed, which it took years. There were multiple maulings, including like known Hollywood celebrities at the time who are in it.
Yeah, like one lady got scalped and ended up having to get plastic surgery. Another actress, they were doing a scene with an elephant, and the elephant like snapped her leg with its trunk. In the shots in the movie.
Yeah, it's considered the most dangerous film ever made.
Cause it is! The
I wanna
plot
watch
is
this
very
now.
thin.
Yes.
But it is completely carried by just the sheer teetering, almost horror nightmare that the entire film is.
Yeah, it's like not really supposed to be a horror film, but like it is a horror film.
Yeah.
And
It's supposed to be like a cute, like, Swiss Family Robinson, but with lions in Africa kind. Like, that's the vibe they're trying to do with the 70s hippie, stoned out bullshit. But because there's 100 free roaming lions, it is not.
Everyone's terrified at all times.
Except, like, the main actor. I can't remember his name. Like, he's chilled. He's like, oh, these lions are great. And then just everybody else is like,
yeah, they're great. Oh, God.
Yeah. I'm just getting the vibes of like Milo and Otis, where they're like, "This is supposed to be a kids movie." I'm like, "That's a horror movie."
Actually, that's my next one.
Yay!
And I have some good news for you.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
That is largely rumor. There's actually no proof that any animals died or were seriously injured on the set of Milo and Otis.
Good.
That was just like a rumor kids and people started because they're like, oh, it's a movie about animals.
Well, there's also a scene where there's a cat falling off a fucking cliff. I could understand people being like, that cat's dead. It was a kitten, so there's a chance that either A, there was a bag down there, or B, it just hit and just went...
Well, part of it, too, is that so it's largely rumor. Like I said, I watched a video about it not that long ago, and someone actually tried to look into it, and they couldn't find any proof that any animals... and in fact, some of the animals that people claim died were in later television series and stuff. They'd be like, that's the same cat. And part of it was because at the time, like now, if you see a dog in a TV show, it'll be like, Barry the dog was played by Tito the dog. Like they have names and stuff. Back then, it would just, they would boilerplate put all animals provided by company.
Yep.
And so when people saw that and they're like, all animals, and, you know, people's rumors going wild.
Hey, as I said, in the realisticness of that scene, just being like, how did that cat survive?
I have a note about that. I need to re-look this up, but there has been science about this phenomenon where people in high-rise apartments, sometimes your cat is a dumb fuck and will get on the banister and then fall off the balcony. And there's a phenomenon where if you're above a certain story level, the cat lives, but it's like 10 stories.
Yeah, you gotta be
And
pretty
people-
high.
Yeah, and people were just like, how the fuck is the cat, like, not fucking paced? Because there's, like, an intermediate, like, there's a low level where cat's fine, intermediate area where the cats are having to emergency get rushed to the vet, and then above that, it's cool, and then above that, it's, like, not cool again, so there's this weird little area.
Yeah, there's this weird...
Yeah, so I need to look it up. But yeah, there's been actual science research about, like, the aerodynamics of a falling cat and, like, what level that they can still just land and be like, nailed it.
Yeah. They do weird shit with their paws when they're falling to catch air.
I would also think maybe it's got to be something similar to like how like drunk people can get into accidents that are like terrible fucking like car shredders, and they'll just walk out with just bruises because they're just fucking
because their body's loose and
Yeah.
doesn't resist. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's got to be something in that vein where they just get to the point where they're like, okay, I'm good.
I don't want to know.
I think-
I'm not asking this question for the world to answer because that means that we'd have to conduct science and probably lose a lot of cats. But do you think that continues with the pattern? It's like good, dangerous, good, dangerous, good, dangerous.
I don't know.
Good, dangerous.
Yeah, you're like, where's the highest you can drop a cat?
Right,
It's just
yeah.
like, I'm fine.
Right.
Maybe we'll start this in the Discord. I vaguely remember this being an episode of SciShow a few years ago where they talked about this phenomenon.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, if I vaguely remember right, it basically involved a lot of putting cats in wind tunnels.
Oh my god, those cats are like, what the fuck?
Yeah, just like, and yeah, they're just recording their like movements during a fall and just seeing how they rebalance themselves.
Yeah.
I think is what it was.
Huh.
You know, there's got to be at least one cat that was vibing with it.
Who just
Just
didn't even
one.
try to do anything. He was just like,
It's almost as good as you can look up the
Loose
scientific
body.
research for scientists trying to understand how moles dig.
Nah.
oh,
Yeah.
I remember
Oh,
us talking about
Yeah.
that.
I swim.
Yeah, because they're just like, how are they so efficient at like digging? And the only way that the scientists could get this to work is they needed a soil particulate that had even granules, so they could actually like measure the movements like scientifically accurately. So what they would do is they pick up moles and drop them in vats of couscous, because the couscous grains were like scientifically like the same
Close
size.
enough, yeah.
Yeah.
That it was statistically insignificant. So yeah, just dropping moles and vats of couscous and just watching them like dig, and they're just like, oh fuck, this is weird. And they posted those videos online, and you just go look at it. It's very cute.
Super cute.
Spoiler alert, it looks like they're swimming.
Yeah, they swim through dirt.
I like it.
Little dirt mermaids.
I love it.
Yeah. I actually had a little addendum to the Milo and Otis thing.
Oh god, yeah.
So they actually were fully investigated by the American Humane Society and
good.
one other group, and both completely cleared the movie.
Oh
Good.
wow. Okay.
So-
It is
cool.
safe to watch.
I mean, it's.
Milo and Otis is vegan friendly.
Yay.
I was about to say, still kind of a horror movie.
Yeah.
Even without the death, if you watch it, be like, this is. Like, I enjoyed watching that movie, but I was still like, this doesn't feel like.
It's kind of a cannibal holocaust where, like, the movie came out and a lot of weird rumors started about it where like they actually killed the people in the movie and all that stuff. But none of that ever happened. It was just like partially designed to build advertising for the movie itself. Although I don't think the directors did it intentionally, but it is like the movie kind of took on a life after the movie.
Well, no, I'm also commenting on the movie itself.
Yeah.
Outside the rumors, like it's like this is like the mud scene. I'm like that was a little horrifying as a kid.
Milo and Otis, much like Cannibal Holocaust, is up to parental discretion.
Yeah, ask your parents before you watch Cannibal Holocaust, guys.
Yeah, this is like post 1995 children's media where the only things you weren't allowed to do were like be naked and
Even
like
then, that
show
rule
blood.
was- The
Like-
blood definitely no, but the nudity was definitely like a weird.
Yeah, because they had a live birth scene from both animals.
That's educational.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, no, just I remember a lot of '90s media where they're just like, yeah, there's just a lot of nudity.
The 90s were just a lot of nudity.
Yeah, and a lot of uncomfortable, weird jokes for kids that like you're now watching it going like, now I get why I'm fucked up. Okay, cool, I get it now.
You ever see the movie Powder?
I don't think I have.
It's one of the weirdest movies I've ever seen, but unfortunately it was directed by Victor Salva,
Oh,
who was the guy who did what are those movies called? The one where the bus full of like football players gets attacked by Jeepers Creepers.
yeah.
That guy turned out to be a bit of a pederast.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we disavow the Jeepers Creepers.
Yes, don't watch his films, or don't pay to watch his films. I
Yeah.
won't tell you what you can or can't
Yeah, I was
watch.
about to say.
But-
Pirate that shit.
Yeah, pirated.
But he also did another movie called Powder, which is about a teenage boy who's born as an albino, and for some reason that gives him magic powers. But there's a lot of weird scenes in it where like the basketball players are playing, but then they're like sweating and like taking their shirts off and like dripping sweat on themselves. It's like a wholesome family movie with like Jeff Goldblum and a couple other recognizable faces. And then there's this weird like not actually albino person. It's just a kid they like shaved and painted.
Oh.
And then like these like teenage basketball players like softcore porn dripping their own sweat all over themselves, and
Ew.
it's like that was a vibe in the 90s. I feel like where it just like randomly just like gel on the camera like during a basketball scene, and they slow it down. And you're just like, huh, someone's touching themselves to this scene.
Like, nah, it's just boys playing sports. That's fine. It's just boys
Yeah.
playing sports.
It's just Top Gun. It's fine.
It's just
It's just a volleyball scene. What the fuck are you talking about?
we added the most amount of kink that we could to the Addams Family movie without anybody catching it, and then we're surprised that so many people are just like, I'm really into this.
I do love the millennial Venn diagram of you can tell who understood like non-toxic relationships. Because it's just like, the people that are like, I want to be Harley and Joker. I'm like, you didn't get the correct option. The millennials that are like, Gomez and Morticia. I'm like, you can figure out the healthy couples.
Yes. Oh my gosh. My brain just immediately went to, like, I like that Harley Quinn has hyenas and she seems to actually take care of them. Mm-hmm. Cycling back to, like, the Mike Tyson energy where it's like, this is not where those animals are supposed to be, but you're actually taking care of them, so I'm like...
They seem to be having a good time.
Yeah. So it's
I
like-
do love in the movie that she just saw the dealer and she's like, I'm going to get these babies out. And the dealer's like, I'm going to sexually harass you. And she's like, I'm going to let those hyenas eat you.
Yes. As
I'm like,
you
good.
should.
I do think that, Sarah, you kind of touched on something there, though, which for, like, if you are running Gangrel in a game, like, keep in mind, like, you might be able to talk to an animal, but the animal probably still doesn't want to be in the city unless you're, like, catching, like, city rats or something. It's cool to have, like, a pet wolf or something as a character, but, like, where's that wolf living in Chicago?
Yeah.
Yeah, get something that'll be okay.
I don't want to ruin the fantasy elements for people because these games are supposed to be fun, but there's some times where people are like, I'm going to get this really weird exotic pet, and I'm like, I'm not trying to be rude, but you live in New York City. Where the fuck are you keeping this? Like, how are you affording, like, the food and the care for this? Like,
Yeah, I
how have none of your neighbors phoned
Complain.
anybody to bitch about this?
I've tried to explain this before. My gorilla will punch down a penthouse door. I will eat the owner. The gorilla will live in the penthouse.
The gorilla also needs to eat several 100 pounds of vegetation every fucking
I
day.
will start a garden in there too. Okay, I will ghoul a couple people to build a little like fucking greenhouse
See,
in
there
the
you go.
penthouse.
There you go. That's a fun level of story building and world building and enrichment that you can add to your game very easily based off of the dumbest shenanigans.
So that I can have a gorilla as a ghoul.
I honestly thought John was going to start that off, but this is my emotional support gorilla.
I mean, that could be a way to get around some of that.
Yeah,
Just like
I would learn presence.
Yeah,
and I
click
would make
on.
everyone click awe and make them feel bad for me. And say, this is my emotional support gorilla. And then if they kept giving me shit, I'd be like, my emotional support gorilla really doesn't like it when I get upset. You don't want to see me when I'm upset. You wouldn't like it when I'm upset. And then the gorilla will be like, Hulk! And punch the dude. I'll teach the gorilla how to talk.
Or you could just have them convinced that your gorilla is your grandma who you take care of.
Just put a little moo on it and like tiny little like half moon glasses.
Yes.
Wait, you don't have to teach the gorilla to talk. You can get the little like touch pads that they're getting dogs and cats to use.
We'd have to
Like
carry it
get a
around
speak
then,
and
though.
spell.
Speak and spell.
It could literally have a thing that's just like Kong smash.
Now I want to watch Monkey Shines.
Monkey Shine
Dad,
is
Dad,
God.
love dad food.
the amount. Oh God, the end of that movie is so good, so fucking good.
Monkey shit. Is that the one where the guy has the psychic connection
Yeah.
with like the little
Capuchin.
capuchin monkey?
It's the one where the guy is in like an accident, I believe, and so his doctor recommends he gets a helper monkey while he's in a wheelchair, and then the monkey and him like bond, and then the
It's-
monkey gets jealous.
Well, it's not bonding. He is doing a thing to try and increase the intelligence of individuals while using brain fluid. And he injects the monkey, and it's like a woman's brain, and it gets like smart. And he's like, I'm not going to let him kill the monkeys. This one's getting really smart, and I need a service monkey. The monkey's like, yeah.
But this
And-
is my
Yeah, I've
my
decided I've decided that I am in a romantic relationship with you, and I am not telling you this, and I am going to kill anyone that tries to get between me and my weirdly romantic relationship with this man in a wheelchair, and I am a monkey that is a tenth of its size.
I mean, I will give the movie the credit of it's a weirdly disability positive film.
Yeah.
Like the guy who is in the chair is like a romantic lead. They don't try to like ugly him up or anything. Like he bangs.
Yeah.
Like they have a whole like softcore romance scene.
With the monkey?
No,
No,
with
no,
a
no.
woman.
Oh, okay.
With his
I
girlfriend.
was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, no, like he ends up getting in a romantic relationship with the monkey trainer lady.
Okay, gotcha.
And they have a full 80s, like, actually very tastefully done sex scene. And I'm just like, you know what? Props to this movie for in the 80s, like, not treating this guy as, like, a weird little, like, oh, look, isn't it quirky that he's disabled?
Yeah.
I don't think the movie would work if they did that.
Yeah, it would not. But, you know, there's a lot of movies in the 80s and 90s where they would have, like, somebody on crutches or somebody in a chair and just, like, that was their personality. Was like, my name is Wheels and I go fast, but I'm, like, smart with computers, but I can't get lucky for some reason.
Oh, like that kid from the Burger King Kids Club.
Yeah!
Speaking of, that's a Stephen King movie.
The Burger King Kids Club?
No,
Monkey Shines.
Oh, yeah.
Because
Yeah.
again, the dude has a shine. Literally, monkey shine.
Yeah. He's got a psychic connection with this monkey, and then the monkey's like, I'm gonna get that dick. And he's like, no, you're a monkey, and that's weird. And then the monkey takes offense.
Yeah.
That's the entire plot.
Somebody needs to sit that monkey down and have a talk about consent.
We do.
We do.
We
Somebody,
specifically.
all right, somebody get a hold of this monkey's agent, reach him out to blankbodies@gmail.com. We got to interview this monkey. We got to have a conversation.
Look, this is why you have an intimacy coordinator on certain productions. Maybe we need to not Elon Musk like brain link ourselves to monkeys.
All right.
I would let Elon Musk bring Link to a monkey just to see what happened.
I mean that.
I feel bad for the monkey.
Yeah.
I would let Joe Rogan brain link to a monkey because I think that would just
He
be him
already-
living his truth.
I was about to say he's already brain linked to a monkey.
Oh, that's the worst.
He's brain linked to Joe Rogan.
Ook.
Ooh, indeed.
They smoked one boof together and now they're on the same wavelength.
Well, you guys, did you ever hear about DMT?
Yes.
No, Joe. I've never heard of it. Please talk about it for 40 minutes.
I hate that Joe Rogan made DMT like mainstream because the amount
So
of people that I've been in contact with that smoked it, and then they just become insufferable for the month afterwards.
Some people, it's the rest of their life, but
Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
I'm partially grateful that, like, you know, weed and things are becoming legal and decriminalized, and like we're actually treating addiction properly and starting to understand like how these things can help us, like whether treating like mental illness with like mushrooms and LSD, and how they can be used as part of like a therapy program and stuff. But also, like, weed culture has never fallen farther than the second it became legal in like 2 states.
Yeah.
And I hate it so much. No matter what, I'll be on Instagram, whether it be the Blank Bodies Instagram or my personal one, and they're just like, all right, we're just going to start recommend you reels of dudes like smoking pure wax constantly.
That shit's dumb.
The
And they're just-
gentrification of like the weed industry is just absolutely fucking nightmare fuel. If you want to look at a dystopia,
Just like a dude who looks like he eats protein powder but doesn't work out in a Rick and Morty shirt, just with like smoking $500 worth of like dab oil in like 30 seconds through a bong. Like, it's probably the quickest way to just make me fucking depressed.
Yeah, the world's biggest neckbeard and the smallest trilby on top of his head.
No,
Not even that.
it's usually the shaved head, but a beard that's like groomed to about here and then wild from the chin down. Sometimes like one of those giant fitted like caps that were cool in like 2004.
oh, there's like flat bill baseball hats that's got like a comic book character logo on it.
Yeah, it's like still got the sticker on the bottom of it,
Yeah.
so you know it's real.
See, I always see the ones where it's like the dude in the weed beanie with the long shitty hair and the like unkept goatee, kind of neck beardy, but like the stoner neck beard, who has like the ropes of weed that's like 3.5 feet long and he hits the whole thing.
Yeah.
Those are the ones I always see. I never see the flat bill
I
dudes.
think the ones I get, and I blame this just purely based on like my political interactions. I get the really buttoned down, cleaned up, like white guys whose parents were hippies. They are not. They're an entrepreneur, and they're opening up a shop that specializes only in certain types of sativas, and it's like this very kitschy, like boutique weed store that they're opening in Boulder, Colorado.
Uh-huh.
And it makes me want to throw them through a goddamn wall because I'm just like, how many people in your county alone have been incarcerated for running the exact business that you are doing right now, that you are not supporting or helping? Like, they don't have oh, hey, I'm making this really posh store, but part of my proceeds are going to
The community.
like fucking like bail bonds programs to help like get the charges off of the people who have been charged for like possession and dealing and shit like that. And it's just like, I hate this.
Yeah.
Last time I went to Michigan to visit the dunes, I stopped at a dispensary so I could enjoy the dunes in a full and
Legal way.
And it was kind of cool because the place that I went was very like clean, and it felt like a North Face store.
Yeah.
Like, it was very nice and set up and everything. The people were there were very knowledgeable about their product, blah blah blah. And then I'm sitting there checking out, and I looked down, and they had a bunch of business cards for the Last Prisoner project.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good,
Yeah,
good, good,
and
good,
they were
good.
like, I was like, oh, cool. Is this like, you guys work with these guys? And they're like, oh yeah, so many proceeds of like, it was a specific like product that they used, but a certain percentage of whatever they made off of that was going to Last Prisoner. I was like, that's dope. It'd be cooler if it was the whole fucking store, but
At least, like, I know you gotta like
make
pay
money.
bills.
Yeah,
and
you gotta
lights
make
and-
money.
Yeah, because isn't it? Last podcast on the left has a line of like vape weeds that proceeds are going to Last Prisoner Project as well.
Yep.
Yay!
They're not in anywhere near us though.
Nope.
You're West Coast only, right?
Yeah, right
I
now.
think so.
Last I knew it was only California, but
I don't weed, so I don't pay attention. But I've seen the ad, and I'm like, good job, boys. More people need to do that.
Well, we are talking about weed and not monkeys, so I think this is a time to...
We should probably cut like 20 minutes ago.
Hemp and weed is tied into nature, which is something the Gangrel do care about.
Actually, that'd be kind of an interesting Gangrel character.
Oh, just
It'd
like a
be
weed farmer?
Yeah, a weed
Yes.
farmer out in like the middle of like Appalachia.
Hell
Like,
yeah.
I've got this plot of land and I got to defend my weed crop from the werewolves around here.
Hell
Like,
yeah.
that'd be a pretty cool Gangrel.
So we forgot to make giveaway characters for this week. So I think we're going to have to do instead of having an off week, we'll do a final, very short episode where we share characters.
Gangrel story time.
Gangrel story time. I hope you guys enjoyed the little stories I picked out. I tried to not go with the too obvious ones, but...
Oh God, I am gonna get labeled the Gangrel guy because I knew half those stories you were gonna talk about.
Oh,
Fuck.
Yeah, no, like I knew all about the Tiger King story before the documentary dropped, so I was like surprised everybody else was surprised.
Yeah, I still haven't actually watched that. I intentionally avoided that for this episode, but
Yeah. It's not a bad docuseries. It kind of loses the thread of what it starts with in the first episode, but I think that's because the docu-crew was like, okay, we're going to look into like exotic animal housing, and then they just got sucked into
They're like, what the fuck?
this crazy gay man in Oklahoma.
Yeah, they did a to make a murderer. They're like, we're just gonna film a thing, and then it just fucking got lost in the weeds when they were like, oh, the most extra gay man that owns big cats. Well, this guy's apparently
Ran for
the store,
local office and crimes. Yeah, so
and that bitch Carol Baskins.
who also did crimes.
isn't she in jail now too?
I have no idea. I've not.
No, I
looked
don't
up
think
on
so.
that.
I think they tried to.
I think they've taken away all of her cats.
Good.
I-
She does not deserve them
We
either.
could Google it. Last I heard is that she had like countersued Joe Exotic and got controlling shares of the zoo that he owned. Was the last I heard, but I also have like not kept up on it.
Yeah, I think she got given his zoo,
Yeah.
and they took, or at least took all the animals, and I think he may have kept the property or something. I don't know. But
Well,
then
it wasn't-
she got all of her animals taken away.
Because I have watched the docuseries. She got the animals. Joe did not have the zoo anymore because the weird fucking unicorn hunters, fuckboy poly people that used kittens to get unicorn girls were the ones that owned the property, owned the animals. Joe doesn't own shit anymore. And, like, they still have the property. But they don't got the animals because, you know, they were like, fuck you. We're taking those.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know what the hell. I don't know what happened to that bitch Carol Baskins, but
I have bigger things to be worried about than some lady
Exactly.
in Florida.
I have bigger things to care about than Florida. Anyway, thanks for listening. We are all over the place on the internet. You can find us on Instagram at blankbodiespod. You can find us on Twitter at _bodies. If you have episode ideas, feedback, you want to tell us a poop joke, whatever comes to mind, you can email us at blankbodies@gmail.com.
If you got those tiger facts about the kitty chittering,
yeah.
Yeah.
Please
we
hit
would
us
like
up.
to know.
I do want to know.
yeah.
Yeah, tell us about throwing cats and the chittering and...
Yeah. Also, I guess thanks to everybody in the community that participated in the blood sports Twitter.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that ties into our next thing. So we are on Patreon. The day this goes up, we are releasing our patron poll to vote on who will be going on to the big Twitter blood sports poll. So we're putting up a poll with all the... we're going to knock it down to just the clans that were in the core book. And so they'll pick 3 of those, and those 3 will go on to the Twitter. And then you guys will all get to decide. So if you want to be in that first poll, you can join us over on Patreon. We got a whole bunch of tiers over there, from everything from just like a basic like little support tier to a voting tier. You can help pick that, things like that. Other episode ideas. We do monthly movies you get a vote on. We have a tier where Sarah will do custom character art for you.
Hey.
You stick with that one for a full year, and she will do a larger drawing in full color.
Yes.
We also have some blood on there. There's all kinds of stuff. So it's definitely worth checking out our Patreon if you haven't yet. And a special thank you to everyone who does support us on Patreon. It means a lot to us, and it's really encouraging to see all the support we've gotten so far.
Also, we're able to maintain the equipment because we've gone through, what, like 3 fucking SD cards at this point?
Yeah.
2. I mean, they go out about it once a year, but
Yeah. What are you gonna do? Technology.
technology.
Technologic.
They're still trying to fuck with me.
It's okay. Look, what slot do we have to put the broken SD cards into you to get them fixed?
I'm not a fixing unit.
Wow, what use are you?
I'm asking this time. I can't find the manual.
That's your fault.
It's not my fault. I had it on the library shelf and now it's gone. I think you hid it from me.
I think Skipper took it away, so it's an excuse to just put things in me.
Anyway, thanks, Paralyze,
Yeah, thanks.
for the theme song. But yeah, so thanks for listening. Anyone else got any final
We
notes?
are professionals.
Professional. I am a consummate professional.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to college.
I'm looking forward to doing part 2 next week.
Hey!
I was built for this.
That'll be fun.
All of the history, that was not a nightmare for me to dig through and
Yeah.
sort.
I know nothing about that. That'll be interesting.
It'll be
Totally.
super interesting.
I can't wait to record that episode next week.
That hasn't been recorded.
Nope.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
About being vampires that lie about this.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye.
I love you.
Oh.
Fancy.